Hey everyone, welcome back for another video. Today we've got a redux of our Nevenka and Blotch deck. The marketplace has come out, happy days, big fan of that one, and it let us pick up a few cards. Nothing too crazy with this one, just missing a few things. Notably the Paper Herald, I'd pick up a couple of those that I needed, but we're only playing two today. Back and trying to get some Lyra Festival wins. Been opening packs as well. And we got this fancy old Tinkerbell, which is a double sabotage. So we're hoping that's good in and of itself. But what that's done is it's made me feel a little bit more confident going down one Tanuki, and thus we could fit a few other cards in there. So we're playing. From the previous video, we've got 3 copies of Nyala and 1 sleight of hand as ways to shift cards in and out of our hand. We'll see how that goes. We've cut out the Hatters. Not too impressed with that card, I must say, considering the game plan that we've been going for. And we're trying out a couple copies of Silent Night. I am a little worried about it targeting a character before you roll the die. Obviously, giving your opponents things sleep for 1 mana is cool. Giving your stuff anchored for 1 mana is cool, but doing the opposite, not so much. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this card in particular today. See if that one is useful, or if we can try and find a way to upgrade that to the rare copy, which we do have because of the marketplace. Big fan of its work. We spoke about it last time, but the Paper Heralds might be a way to help facilitate. And everything is pretty standard. We've got the 2 copies of Lyra Festival. Bit worried about that one again, as usual. Having to mana 1 early means you're chasing a one of in your deck, which is not always the best place to be, considering how much resupply we have in here. So in terms of card advantage, we have the 3 copies of Nice as well, which is interactable. Bye-bye. 2 copies of Croupier, and they are summer as well. Now 3 copies of Aloe Vera. So we're really trying to keep some stuff around, but it's all a little bit over the shop. I'm wondering if I have to go back and figure out how it is that we're actually drawing our cards, and whether the rest of our deck is conducive to that. All-star cast today. We saw the Tinkerbell, the Hathor from the first video as well, just as a way to give everything Fleeting Anchor to sleep. I think if I didn't have this card in particular, I'd probably be running exactly 3 copies of Lyra Festival. We've seen it before. It may be good. And then the Lyra Cloth Dancer, just as a way to split the difference. We're probably not getting too much value if we do roll a 4 on its Dusk ability, considering we're only running 7 spells. But the ones that we run are going to be good. But that rolling a dice thing and giving things fleeting, always good. Virtual card advantage by sending our opponent's stuff to the bin if they give us the chance. Alright, let's crack on with this one, see how it goes. Always a good time. I love rolling dice, I love hitting natural 6s, and I love cheating a little bit with the martingales. It's probably the most fun you can have playing Altered. So yeah, good luck to me. Hope you stick around. Check back in at the end for the debrief. Alrighty, here we are, game 1 with the Lyra Festival deck. Nevenka and Blotch still going, living the dream. A couple of changes, let's see how they go. You can see some of the changes here. We'll see if we get a chance, but there's the Paper Heralds we talked about in the last one. Tinkerbell. We found room for a couple copies of Silent Night as well. A couple of ratios adjusted there too. We'll see while our opponent is deciding on what deck they want to play. couple of things. We've gone down a bit on removal. So we've got the 2 copies of Cloth Cocoon that can hit permanents, as well as creatures with abilities. Okay, that might have a bit of text here, which is going to be nice. And we're playing second. Alright, what's our first turn look like? I think we're going to have to get rid of our Sabotage and Cloth Cocoon. Sabotage being not that good against Muta decks because they tend to keep their creatures around. Our first turn will be one of our 2 drops plus the Martingale. I think we'll keep the Cloth Dancer. Try and mess with their hand a little bit early by giving stuff fleeting, even if they do keep it around. Alright. Well, they've played a 3-drop. So we can actually play our Cloth Dancer here, keep the Martingale around for a little bit later. We don't necessarily have to risk sending the Cloth Dancer to reserve. So I think we're going to avoid doing that. Had they played 2 creatures, we probably would have taken the shot, but that's okay. Alrighty, we'll get rid of the Sandman here, keep the Silent Knight around, see how that goes. We'll try and sculpt our way towards a pretty early Lyra Festival win. We have an option. We could play the Aloe Vera, start getting our card advantage there, but that will give our opponent free rein to do with as they wish. So what we'll do, we'll play our Martingale on this side. We'll see what they want to do with that information. We could either play the Cloth Dancer. Alright, they play an Aloe Vera. So I think what we do here is we play the Cloth Dancer on that side. And what we're going to do is we're going to activate Nevenka, targeting the Cloth Dancer. We roll a 1, we can add 1 to it, which we will, because we don't want to send it to the bin. We'll give their Aloe Vera fleeting as well. We'll pass the turn. So we get a double advance, they move forward once as well. This doesn't matter. We stay ahead, which is nice, but we do give up the Martingale for 1 turn as well. Alright, 2 copies of Silent Night is probably too many. Ooh, a Spindle. At least we got some value out of our Cloth Dancer before that's hit the field. We did get rid of one of our copies of... Cloth Cocoon to deal with it as well. They're going to probably try and find a way to give the aloe vera anchored once more. We've got some options. We could use the supportability of the Martingale, play everything out in our hand, but then we end up with not too much going. So I think we'll play the Paper Herald. See what they want to do. Yep, that's completely reasonable. Play the aloe vera on this side so we advance again. And because this is free, if our Paper Herald goes away, there we go. Pretty happy with that. We keep both of these guys around. Don't have access to its supportability this turn, but extra power is always appreciated. Unfortunately, we advance into only green, so they're lost in the woods. Which they get rid of will have an effect. I suppose this is by far our weakest side, so we'll deal with that. We did find a Cloth Cocoon, and we get the first opportunity. We'll play that, targeting the aloe vera before they have a chance to drop the Spindle. That's both of our Cloth Cocoons. And as such, we won't be thinking about that anymore. What we're going to do, we're going to try and force them to play the Lyra Thespian into this side. A Moona Druid, fantastic. Alright, what can we do here? Ah, they concede. Alright. Probably not going to put this one on, or if we do, it's going to be a 4-video game. That was pretty short and sweet. Alright, GG's, on to the next one. Alrighty, here we are, game 2 with our Festy deck, Redux. Pretty happy with that one. Looking like it might be a 4-match kind of video. Alright, we'll see how we go. We have one of our Lyra festivals, so we're going to hold on to that one. Martingale and Paper Herald are both pretty good, but we might start with a Nisa. So we'll have to get rid of those, plus one of our 1-drops. The Martingale's probably better to keep around, so we'll keep that. This hand is a little bit funky as a result of having to keep the festival, and obviously we're going to have to reduce the number of choices that we have to send things into our mana zone. But we'll see what our opponent does first. Probably looking at a double loss here. We might be able to advance one side. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll play our niece. Send a Mage Dancer into reserve. That's a pretty good one to have around next turn. see what they want to do. Could they be sending the Boshi back to their hand? No. No, they want to advance. That's cool. I thought maybe they'd be wanting to keep it around for next turn, but I think that's getting a bit too weird for our opponent. I don't know how I feel about that, because now we get another copy of resupply at some point. Alright, the hypothermia is good. 2 mage dancers. Do we get rid of the little gnome guy? That may be the plan, because we can actually look to set up a pretty early festival win here if we can fade removal. Big if, depending on what our opponent plays. But we'll have a look, see what we want to do. Right. We'll fade sabotage here, and we'll play our mage dancer first. Alright, that's reasonable. We'll play a mage dancer on the other side as well. Alright, can we advance? Can we advance if we play the Martingale on this side? 1 to its result, so it'd be 2. Wouldn't stop them from advancing. However, it does get us an extra 1 back. Alright, so we'll do that. I was thinking maybe we could play Hypothermia and put the Isomboshi to sleep. But we'll keep that one around for later. Target our Martingale, try and keep that one around for next turn. We get a 4, ups to a 5. Alright, we could have potentially played that different. I'll talk about it here, but playing the Martingale before our second mage dancer might have been good on the other side. See if they want to contest there. And then we could have had both of the mage dancers on one side and stopped them from playing there. Alright, let's have a quick count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd need 9 mana to win from hand here. If we wanted to play everything out, that would be sufficient. I think what we'll do is we'll get rid of the Sandman for now. Alright, They could have a 1-drop, but we'll contest the Buddha with our Esmeralda, get a copy of Sandman out as well. I'm interested here. I think we just trigger Nevenka and Blotch. We get a 1. That's cool. And we'll just play our Sandman out. So I think that was pretty free. Probably going to have to spend some form of resources slowing them down from here. A form of sabotage would be nice here. We don't get that one, but we do get a Silent Knight and a Mage Dancer. Got 4 cards in hand plus a form of draw. We're likely to run into some form of removal. I'm just trying to think what our turn to win would look like. Could we give up a double advance here and play the Lara Festival out? Can we win without getting the ETB from that card? I think the smart thing to do would be to get rid of the Silent Knight. Still got high hopes for this Hypothermia. We'll see what they choose to do. We're likely going to cast Hypothermia, targeting whatever they play, and obviously our Martingale. Okay, that's a bit disappointing. Are you okay? I'm worried about my opponent. I'm wondering if I should send a search party out. What does our next turn look like? Alright, they play physical training. Choosing not to play the one in reserve, so they must have a 1-drop in hand. So what I'll do, Hypothermia, I'll choose our Martingale. And with the Martingale out, this is free, so we'll target our Mage Dancer. We'll get a 3, becomes a 4. I think we play the Mage Dancer on the other side because it's free. We actually advance ahead of our opponent here. Our other option would have been to play the Hypothermia targeting our Mage Dancer as well. Just playing that turn over again. Two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're at... Okay, what do they play first? Is it Sabotage? Haven Trainee. We'll play our Mage Dancer. We're very concerned about what the last card in their hand could be. If it's some form of removal, we are in a bit of trouble. So we're hoping to just see a creature. Alright, physical training. So it can only be a 2-drop for it to impact the board. Reasonable. Alright, we've got a +2. So if they don't get rid of one of our creatures, and we roll a 4 or better, we just win on this turn. So we'll target the Martingale. Hey, we'll roll a 5. Okay. Pick a 7, anchored, gets a boost. There we go, we play Lyra Festival. We'll choose our Martingale, give it a sleep, pass the turn, and there we go. Pretty happy with that one. That came together quite nicely. Lowering the curve of this deck and fitting a bit more resupply in did feel quite comfy. Yeah, this one's looking good. Our opponent was very new there. Alright, they maybe didn't know what to look for, but I'll still take it. We set that up quite comfortably. Alright, on to game number 3. Alrighty, here we are, game 3 with our Nevenka and Blotch Festy list, updated to be a little bit more streamlined. Let's try that again. There we go, we're playing first. We are up against Atsadi and Surge. So we'll expect some ramp out of our opponent and a lot of big things later on. Hopefully we can deal with those by sleeping them as they come around. This is too many Nyalas. I do like the idea of having a Silent Night around with the Martingale. But we might be able to recur that one with the Nyala anyway. There you go. Just found the little lock button in the bottom left not too long ago. It's been fruitful. Alright, we'll start with the Esmeralda. See what they want to do against that one. And we immediately resupply one of our uniques. The Tinkerbell has play from reserve, so we can keep it in there if we want. Might be able to recur that with the Nyala anyway. Alright, they sabotage. We'll play Martingale on this side. Bold of them to sabotage turn 1. We'll target the Esmeralda. Get a double. Lucky we had the martingale, hey? Alright, we'll pass turn there. Funnily enough, we did have the option to stop our opponent from advancing. Might have been a good idea, we'll see if that plays out, but getting a double here is not too bad. Alright, we'll get rid of the cloth cocoon. Try and get some value out of that hypothermia. Might be one to hold on to for the late game. Alrighty, so we could recur the martingale, but then we'd have to put hypothermia into reserve. So I think we'll just get value out of the Esmeralda while we've got it. Alright. We're going to play out the martingale here. Target it with our Nevenka and Blotch. Get a 4/5. So we'll boost it. Then we'll play our hypothermia. We'll sleep it. Keep it around for next turn. One, two, three, four, five. We'll play out the martingale, the second one. See what our opponent wants to do, if they want to play another creature. Not a bad choice from our opponent. We'll play the Mage Dancer and see what they want to do with their remaining 2 mana. Will we see a mana channeling? That could be something they have. Ah. Okay. So we have the option. If they have a 1-drop, they can play it. Although it would be a tiny Djinn. So we'll target our Mage Dancer. Get a 5. Do we want to advance here, or do we want to keep it around and stop them from playing? This is a genuine choice to have, actually. I actually think we want to keep it around for next turn. So we'll pass. They're definitely interested in ramping if they're stopping us from casting hypothermia on the Djinn. They have the 2 bounces, they'll probably get rid of 1 and keep the Twinkle Twinkle around. We'll get rid of the Nyala here because we don't have the cards in hand to be able to successfully swap things around. And we are kind of shoehorned into playing the Hathor on our hero side because we're currently just sitting in green, where it does nothing. We could use it to block something from our opponent, but we'll oh, interesting. Play the Martingale on the companion side, try and roll a 4 again. Get a 3. We'll put it up to a 5. That's okay. Because we can play the Hathor. We can give her anchored. Anchored or asleep, it doesn't really matter. But we get a double advance. Our opponent has decided against something there. We get to go first, so we're hoping to find something that puts a card back in our hand, or a hypothermia also works. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. We'll pass here. See what our opponent wants to do. Ah, they just concede. Alright. Guess they fell far enough behind, they weren't too happy with it. I was. GG. On to the next one. A little bit of a disappointing end, but at least it showcased the fact that we can contest on board with this deck, even when the Lara festivals don't show up. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt the video. Just wanted to check and see if there was any interest in me uploading another video that I recorded for the Nevenka and Blotch list. I ended up cutting it in favor of the one that comes next. I thought that just sort of showcased the deck in a slightly different light, a bit better, ended up being a bit more interesting and more to learn from. But if there is, I'll probably just upload this fourth game as a midweek upload in between main videos. So if there is, let me know. Gotta say thank you very much for watching the video all the way through, because obviously if you're seeing this, you've been watching, so that's very much appreciated. But yeah, if there is, let me know. I'll be happy to add that one. Thanks very much. Have a great time. Back to the games. Alrighty, here we are, game 4 with our Nevenka and Blotch Festy deck. Slightly longer one because we had the 2 concessions. Let's see what we're up against. Fen and Crowbar. Alright, how are we looking? These 2 creatures, being the ones we have in hand, are actually quite rough early on. So we're going to have to deal with that by playing out something. I think the Hathor is better to keep around. Unfortunately, I had to get rid of the Lyra Festival to be able to keep 2 creatures in hand. Our one creature being Hathor or Tanuki would have been a pretty rough place to be. I thought about high rolling there, try and keep the Tanuki around for next turn. Would have definitely been a really good start. The double sabotage from us and our opponent, not too bad a place to be, but I'm worried about getting blown out here a little bit. We don't have to worry about tough as an ability too much out of another Lyra deck. So that reduces the value on the hypothermia over the Sandman. So I think we'll get rid of that one and just have to play a little bit slow. This is not the most fantastic hand out of us. Aloe Vera gains anchored. I think we'll play the Sandman out, get a little bit of value out of that one, put it to sleep and move ahead. Let's not touch the hero ability and risk what it is that we're earning. If we had a 1-drop in hand, we'd think about it. Now we've got a 1-drop in hand. Alright, do we keep the Croupier around or do we give up the Dream for the Lyra Festival? So we've got access to Fleeting, Anchored, and Asleep here. That would be quite a significant amount of mana. But I think we're going to hold on to it and try and cultivate one of those. Unfortunately, we're going to have to navigate through some Twinkle Twinkles and Cloth Cocoons as well. I think we're going to try and play something out of reserve here. I'm just not sure what's better to keep around in case we get a sleight of hand effect. Probably the Sandman, considering we're going for the festival win. So we'll try and force something here. So they'll probably give their Aloe Vera anchored with the Hatter. They do sabotage the we could just pass the turn here, or we play the Paper Herald. Might just see a Twinkle Twinkle out of our opponent, doesn't really achieve much. So they're going to have to play something from hand, and they are beating us in card advantage. It's kind of what Fen and Crowbar does. Plus we got rid of a lot of our ways to draw spells. Alright, I suppose there's nothing to be lost here by rolling on the Tanuki. Give us a 6. We get a 1! Alright, bye-bye little man. Sorry to have known you. Alright, we'll pass. They'll get a double advance. They'll give their Aloe Vera anchored. Sort of just starting to drown us in the choices they can make. Okay, not too stressed about that. We have already signalled that we're interested in going for a festival win here. The Paper Herald plus the Hathor is 2 creatures. They got rid of the Twinkle Twinkle. If you're a Silent Night. Okay, go away. Sorry, leaned on my keyboard there. I think what we do here is we actually skip a mana, as counterintuitive as that is. Because we want to keep what we have around. Okay, get rid of the Paper Herald, so we're not achieving anything right now. 330, they would go up to 4. Although it doesn't help them advance, so I'm gonna put them to the test here. We'll pay the 1 because we can. Couldn't use it on the Paper Herald, unfortunately. That would have been probably where we were looking, or activating its ability. Cloth Cocoon. Alright, we'll pass here. We're going to have to give up another double advance. It's 2 Hatters out of them. Alright, it's probably looking like a bit too far. Too lofty a goal for us at the moment. Alright, we'll lead with a Paper Herald. Check 1 Cloth Cocoon. We'll have to play the Silent Night here. Hope we're a low roll. I don't mind that so much. Put the Cone Man back in hand. Play it. Okay. Oh, that's stressful. Do they have a way to return something to hand again? No, because the Cone Man's going to be on the field next turn. So we pass here. We actually get one back. They are right on the cusp. If they have any way of getting rid of a permanent, we do lose. However, if we get there, this is going to be the greatest win of all time. We're going to pass the turn. I am terrified. Okay, there you go. We can concede after that. That's alright. We knew they had it. Unlock that. Concede the game. GG's to our opponent. How good would that have been, though? That's alright. Alright. See you in the debrief. GG's, fam. Alrighty, there we go. 4 games done with our updated festival list. That was pretty good. A 3-1 record, including 2 early concessions. Would have been interesting to see if we'd been able to pull together the festival wins in those games, but we were pretty far ahead, so can't blame our opponents for wanting to drop out a little bit early. In the deck tech, I was talking about Silent Night being the common version and how that might be a little bit of a point of tension for the card. I think that sort of came to fruition, and the Nyalas, we ended up putting that one into the mana a lot because we just didn't have the cards in hand to swap things around as we would have wished. So let's look at making some changes here. Where can we start? Alright, we're going to try and find a way to fit those rare Silent Knights in. Let's search for that one. Get rid of the common thing. 1, 2. 2 copies of Silent Knight. Let's try those out. That means we do have to get rid of at least 2 uncommons. Sorry, 2 rares. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try a list without the aloe vera, which means we have to try and find another way of adding card draw in as well. So we have to look at our the rest of our deck to see where we can fit that in. Alright, the change I think we're going to make is adding in some Haven Sayringers. The unique version we have doesn't draw a card, so we'll play 3 of those in that spot instead, but that means we have to try and find a way to reduce our rare count down and find more ways to include Anchored in the deck. So to that effect, I think we're going to try a version of the list with the Common Festival as well. So let's try that. Nope, not you. Go away. 2 copies there, because that does have instances of draw a card in there. So we've actually gone up 2 draws, but we lose the effects here too. To put something, choose the effect that we want to put on the field then. So we're going to have to change our playstyle a little bit, play these out at the end of a turn, draw the card, and then effect a win completely from there. I think towards that end, as we've gone down 3 versions of resupply and up 5 draws, we're going to shave on the Esmeralda, and we're going to shave the Sleight of Hand. We were playing that mostly as a 4th copy of Nyala anyway. So in its place, we're going to bring back an old friend, the Hatter. Forgot what it was called for a second there. Alright, 1, 2. What this does is it will keep more cards in our hand throughout the game, hopefully. Give us an option to put a card into reserve that we don't worry about having in there, because we don't really want to play the Hatter for its points, although its stats are technically on rate in those 2, above rate on those 2 expeditions. And can we shave anywhere else? The Tanuki and the Tinkerbell worked out well as 3 instances of sabotage. I like having those there. Can we shave? We've got 2 copies of Hypothermia, so we'll go down to Sandman. As well, and I think we're going to go... What are we going to add? Maybe just another copy of Festival, so we don't feel too bad about putting one of those into the mana, because we want to plan a little bit further ahead. I think we're going to be looking at situations where we draw the second one to send it into mana. Always wanting to keep that one around because we have to plan forward. What this will do is it'll leave us open a little bit further to the permanent removal that our opponents play. They'll have another turn to locate that, but if they don't get it, we should be good. The Silent Knights even costing the 2, we get to roll the die and then target a character, so we get to choose a little bit better. So hopefully that one comes through. We should have just more cards in hand in general as well. So fingers crossed for that one. Check back in next time. Now that the marketplace is up and running, I'm going to be looking for deck suggestions. So if you have any ideas for what I should build next, please feel free to leave it in the comments. We haven't seen a Axiom deck, and we have not seen a Mooner deck yet. But if you want to see me build a particular hero, please let me know. Always looking for different ideas. Very keen to try and buy some things on the marketplace as well. The community in where I live is not that active, so playing online is the only way I get to play Altered at all. If there were any plays or anything you want me to talk about or expand upon, I'm very happy to do so. So yeah, see you next time. Very much appreciated. Love you all. Bye.